Hi, everybody. Let's do some crooked lines. My name is Karen Channing. You can see it down there. I am an LCSW, and today we are going to be looking at what are some better questions we can ask. And we're going to get to that right on the court. We're going to be in the game here. So go ahead and grab your blank paper and something to make your crooked lines. I'm using my Crayola Super Tips that you may recall. I got myself a new package for my birthday last month. Okay, so here's the thing. I had found myself in this past week or so talking with clients and also talking with myself about what are some different questions that we can ask ourselves. And the reason that this came up for me personally was I must have been doing my morning pages and I was having like some of these same automatic big questions arise for me. And we'll get to those in just a moment. But I started to be curious, like, what would be a question that I could ask myself that would be a little bit better, more inspiring in the moment, could actually make a difference for me in the moment rather than being like one of these grand life questions that I don't have the answer for, but it goes on repeat in my brain. I'm sure you can relate to what I'm talking about. And if you can't yet, start watching for yourself. You probably have some of these big unanswerable questions going on too. So we'll see if we can create something a little more supportive, right, for ourselves and for our clients. Had two people in a row last week one day who were both asking these massive questions, and I was inspired to say, hey, what if we find something a little simpler for the moment? So we are going to start today with an emoji. So if you don't know what an emoji is, it is a simple doodle, simple emoji doodle of how you're feeling in the moment. And this just helps us get present. I'm curious if you guys are going to be able to hear my neighbor dog barking today, or if my sound noise cancellation is um, super working. We're going to find out. That's Prince next door, if you can hear him. Okay, so super quick, let's do an emoji. How do I feel right now? So grab your paper and play along with me. All right, so right now, it's so interesting because if I had done this first thing this morning, it would have looked one way. It is 12:39 p.m. Central Time as I'm recording this right now, and it's going to look different than how it would have looked this morning or how it might look later. That's okay. We just want to capture the moment. So emoji. So right now I am feeling um I'm feeling glad that I'm here doing this. I've been wanting to make a video for a while, like I say in almost all of my videos. And here's what I'm really present to right now. Where's my nose? I am sweating. I wanted to come out here this morning and do this, and now that it's 12, almost 12:40 p.m., it's getting very, very hot, and I'm starting to be in the sun. It's in the 90s out here right now. So I'm glad that I'm here and I'm hot. So this is my emoji. Okay. And I'm ready to roll. So let's talk about these big questions. And then I'm going to do some doodling about the question that I've come up with for myself that's making a difference for me. All right. So I've been talking a little bit, and you've seen it in some of my other videos about how I am creating a new class right now. It's pretty much finished, and I submitted it to the social work board about a month or so ago for my national certification. And I got the feedback back from them a week or two ago, and I spent a few days freaking out. And then I called my contact at the social work board, and she told me I don't have anything to worry about, and they'll help me, whatever I need. So I noticed that I've been a little resistant to getting back to sitting down and working on my revisions, but I'm intending to work on them this afternoon. And I'm having these big questions like, oh gosh, am I always going to live in this town that I live in? Uh, um, am I ever going to get a place in New York City? Let's see, what are some of my other like really grand big questions I don't have answers to right now? Um, how do I reach more therapists with what I'm up to and making sure that this next class, left to our own devices, which is teaching us about life in the attention economy, not being able to put our phones down. What can I do to get this in front of more people? Will I ever have a successful this, that, or the other? just these big, really vague questions, the how do I, and the what ifs and the what ifs and the what ifs. So the question that came to me a couple days ago in my morning pages was this. So here's my invitation to you. I'm inviting you to find a different question that can inspire you in the moment, that takes some of the pressure off of you. One of my clients, her question was, how can I lighten up in the moment? She had these big questions like, am I going to stay in my career as a therapist? Just really big unknowns. What does retirement look like for me? And instead, she just kind of rolled it back and how can I lighten up in the moment? And she was very inspired by that. So my question that I came up with is what inspires me in this moment? So I'm asking that question now. And I thought we could do some doodling about what inspires me in this moment. All right, so I'm going to write inspiration here. Just that word, being very meta in and of itself, to me is inspiring. I'm making this video on August 4th. August 1st to August 9th every year in the Grateful Dead community, it's called the Days Between. So the word inspiration is a really great thing while we're in this Grateful Dead holiday right now. There's a song called Terrapin Station that when Robert Hunter, who wrote the lyrics to that song, sat down to write, he invoked the muses, and the opening line of the song says, "Let my inspiration flow." So it feels like a really good time to be doing some doodling about what inspires me right now. What's inspiring? What is inspiring about preparing to do my revisions on my devices class? So let's just see what comes up off the top of my head. What inspires me right now about this? Whoops, I dropped my pen. Okay, so I'm going to try not to overthink it. One thing that inspires me is really like the people who could take the class, imagining these folks learning something about dopamine, about the attention economy, about why their devices are so sticky, about why it's so hard to put them down. Like if all of these folks, let's see, let me change colors here without dropping my pens all over the place. Okay, if all of these folks learn something that helps them not feel as ashamed, that helps them understand what's going on in their brains, that helps them choose, these are light bulbs, that helps them choose, like that inspires me. That is very much worth it. Okay, I feel nervous as I think about this because it's going to be the first time that I've taught this particular class once this class gets certified. And I'm still learning these things too. But that could also be part of what inspires me to get this class complete is that I get to benefit. Let's see, when I make myself, I usually make her meditating. So like, I'm inspired if I have a more analog life as well. What else inspires me about getting this class together? I can see one thing that inspires me is just like being more powerful in myself. So I'm going to try to make like a strong arm there. Yeah, you can see that, right? There's like a muscle. Like I'm inspired to be someone who overcomes my resistance, to be someone who keeps on going when I come up against these roadblocks. Being an entrepreneur, taking risks, going out on our own, there's always going to be a tough spot, a roadblock, something to slow us down. So I'm inspired by strengthening. Yes, indeed. And if I'm being really straight, which I want to be, whoops, I put the wrong color on the wrong cap. All right, we'll fix that after we finish recording here. If I'm being totally honest, one of the things that inspires me, and I'm going to put a black color for this, is growing my business and growing my bank accounts. I'm definitely in it to reach more than 1 million people worldwide with simple creativity. And part of that is funding myself so that I can reach more than 1 million people worldwide with simple creativity, to make sure that I have good food to eat and a wonderful shelter and the ability to travel and present this class to other people. So I'm not going to be shy about it. I am inspired by the financial side of things. Don't undersell yourself, folks. What else? Let's just think of one more thing that I am inspired by. I'm going to just make the planet. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's getting really, really hot where I'm sitting right now. I'm very excited to get out of the sun here in a minute when we finish this video. Okay, here's the planet. And we are going to put all these people around the planet who get to have simple creativity in their lives, because I overcame my resistance and continued teaching. And I made a video. And what we know from the research is that having a creative outlet in our lives has so many wonderful benefits, like reducing anxiety, reducing cortisol levels, reducing depression, helping us feel more connected, helping us feel more in awe. All of these things do really, really good things for our brains and our bodies. And Brene Brown, in her research, has concluded that a lack of a creative outlet can lead to such things as rage. Do we need more rage in our world right now? I don't think so. I think we need more grounded brains and bodies so that we can really make a difference, clear heads, accessing different parts of our minds where we can get into our inspired thoughts, our inspired ideas for how to make a difference in the world rather than super uptight, unexpressed, repressed, just angry, angry, angry. So all of this is inspiring me. This is pretty fabulous. So teaching people about their devices and helping them have more freedom is inspiring. My own freedom is inspiring. My own strength of overcoming resistance, getting my finances growing to the level that I deserve so that I can then also serve more and more and more people all over the world. I'm super inspired by all of that, and I'm inspired by making this video. So it's time for that outmoji, everybody. So I want to know from you all in the comments, what are you inspired by? What's a different question that you could be asking yourself when you're working on something and maybe you're coming up against a roadblock? What's a different question that you could ask? What's something that will bring you back into the present moment? Just putting all these caps on here. It's just so hot. I don't want to leave them uncapped. Okay. So think about what are some different questions you can ask. Invite your clients to think of a simpler question, something that just brings you right into the moment. And you could take my question, what inspires you? Or you could take my client's question, what has me lighten up in the moment? All right, so let's do the outmoji. And then I'm going to get out of the sun. It looks shady here, but it's actually really sunny on most of my body. So I'm going to do my outmoji real quick. Let's see, looking for a different color that I haven't used yet. I don't know if I've used this light green or how it'll even show up on the screen. So an outmoji is a simple emoji doodle of how you feel at the end of something. And we call it part 2 of the Doodle data collection. You make an inmoji, here's how I feel at the beginning. You make an outmoji, here's how I feel at the end. Use it with your clients, use it with your families, use it with yourself. Super simple, highly effective. All right, so I'm going to use this page that actually I drew this truck on there for a client the other day who was asking a lot of questions. She was wondering, should she sell her vehicle or not? And that was what I drew while she was talking about it. So we're going to do my outmoji. Outmoji. I cannot wait to see what you all make from this and hear what you're thinking about. I'm pretty excited about this topic. Okay, outmoji. All right, so here I am, outmojiing, and let's see. I am feeling awesome. I feel really good that I did this, and guess what? I am totally sweating underneath my nose still. So let's see, let's compare really quick. Whoops, I went the wrong way in the papers. The emoji today, she was pretty stoked, But then the outmoji, whoops, is like really excited, right? I was happy when I started. I'm really excited now that I'm finishing. All right, my friends. So I will put in the video description ways that you can find books with simple therapeutic doodle prompts in them, ways that you can find my classes if you want to take the ones that I already have, and you can follow for the future one. I'll be letting you all know as soon as the devices class is ready. And I don't think there's anything else to put in there for today, but if there's anything I missed, just drop a note in the comments and I'll add it. So lots of love to you all. It's Karen Channing. This is Crooked Lines, and I cannot wait to see what you made. All right, lots of love. See you soon. Bye.